so you're ready to draft.
Okay, I'm sideways. Let's see if we can rectify that. But we are recording. Me leaving made my computer the host, which is what I wanted. Okay, so welcome to the kickoff of our health bet. I know Matt and Ashley did the health bet before. Carissa, did you do the health bet the last time? No, okay. So the skinny on how it works, and for anybody watching the recording, hey, Christina, welcome to our call. For anybody listening to the recording, so with the health bet, they've broken the contest period. So it's basically 4 weeks down into 4 sections, and they run Monday to Sunday. You have to read the official rules. Matt was kind of my fact checker the last time because inevitably I said something wrong, and Matt's like, no, but it says in the official rules. I'm like, then let's just ask Matt because he clearly read them more closely than I did. So he kept me on point for all of those. But the gist of, and this is the part where you need to go and read the rules, but you have to take your picture and you can't use any funky filters or anything like that. And I'm sure it's because they want it for advertising purposes. If the Shakeology, you've got to log your shake. Oh, I see a baby hand. Ooh, I saw it. I saw baby fingers. Oh my goodness. To make it work. Don't tell anybody I said that. But, okay. So, yeah, thanks. So, there was another, the app. I don't know if you guys saw this reminder because today's Sunday. When I opened my app today, so does anybody have any health bet rules questions?
Did you answer me when I asked if the half a shake or half a scoop counted still?
Totally counts. I only do half a scoop most days because it just rips up my digestion if I do a whole scoop some days. So I do half to 3/4 of a scoop, and I count that. You just have to log your shake. Okay. Some people break it into 2 because in all honesty, I mean, if you read the ingredients, if you don't have a whole scoop, then you're not getting the 17 grams of protein and you're not getting the full serving of all of the other things that are in there. And so, there are times I have a second shake. Like if I'm feeling munchy at the end of the day, I'll have a second. Right. That would technically be the right way to do it. For the health bet, I don't think it matters. You just really, that's all. Ben and I are going to do the 3-day refresh. Ben did it almost a year ago. Oddly enough, the weekend, a lot of people, I know a bunch of people who just did it this past week, and most of them lost 4 to 7 pounds, which is still a pretty decent amount of bloat and inflammation to lose in 3 days. So from a meal planning perspective, this is basically all laid out for me. I know it's backwards and I don't expect you to read it, and then it just has lunch and afternoon snack and dinner and those kinds of things. It's pretty laid out. So my meal planning was fairly easy this week. The trick is going to be,
because we put lots of vegetables on our baked potato.
That's a really good idea.
And then we do quesadillas at the end of the week to use up all the leftovers from the other foods.
And then I have to tell you, there's this app out there that my friend Sarah Schilling told me about that's called Google Keep. Matt and Ashley are pros at the container thing. I want to know what Chandra's doing.
We got the meal list back there.
Ooh, what are you having?
Nice.
Up there for that way we can, because I always make the meal plan, but Matt's usually. And then we made some. What did we make tonight? We made some new recipe. It was weird.
It was the chicken hash.
Chicken hash. It wasn't so great.
Was it a whole?
Up a bunch of chicken and
was it a whole 30 recipe? Once, and I started making it with spaghetti squash. The kids prefer it with half noodles and half spaghetti squash. I have cottage cheese with a fruit, like either pineapple or peaches or something like that. That's a good snack for me for Whole30. And I've done it when I wasn't really counting my containers every day. But there's nothing in it. All the seasonings are 21-day fix free. And then the soy sauce, especially if you use, that's another one that I don't love that. But Ben does. And then my kids, like half of them like the cucumbers and half of them like the tomatoes. So like I can kind of make it work. But that's another one that you can make a huge bowl of and just scoop some out of. And he's kind of weird, but he likes that on the cottage cheese. I prefer fruit on cottage cheese, and he thinks I'm weird. And he likes tomatoes and that kind of thing on his cottage cheese.
Yeah.
So, okay. Moving on, because I didn't drink enough water. Or you're going to pass through it in the afternoon when you really don't want to do your workout and you're like, I got to put a check in that box. So really do that. And they're repetitive if you were to do them all. But one of them had, like some goals for 30 days versus some goals for 90 days. And then another one, the one that's had 12-month goals. This was my favorite one that looked like this, the 12-month goals. And then you had like categories. And then I liked it because I could pinpoint 3 or 4 things for each category that I could work on this year. Did you guys get working on any?
One of our middle goals was when I lose 30 pounds and when Matt loses 40 pounds, we were going to do X. So we didn't put a date on it, but we put a number on it. And then if he gets there first, he has to wait for me. Or if I get there first, I've got to wait for him.
Oh, he has to wait?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he got his massage without you.
Nope. Nope.
I struggle with those same thing, but for different reasons, because I would look at it and say, like, I can't control how much weight I've lost. Like I can't just push a magic button and say, oh, look, there goes another 20 pounds, And so when I write those things down, I write them in terms of things that I can control. So I've talked about the SMART goals, and I always forget it, but so that you can define them and you can measure them, and they're time sensitive and they're attainable. So I can't remember what S is. So they're measurable and attainable, and SMAR, and then T is time sensitive. And I can't control losing 20 pounds, but I can control working out 5 times a week. And I can control drinking 100 ounces of water. All this stuff on this Why Not Me tracker, I can control these things. Do you know what I mean? So my goals, my weekly and monthly goals, that 30 and 90 day thing for me looks like, and actually I didn't print it off, it's still on my computer, but it looks like, drinking 7 shakes a week and getting 7 hours of sleep at night, and or going, I can't control that because I have a kid who's just decided not to sleep. But I can control going to bed, right? I can be in bed by 10 or 10:30. You know what I mean? And I can control my water, and I can control how many times I work out in a week. And those are the kinds of things. So when I'm looking at that, I'm trying to build a habit, right? So yeah, I want the scale to go down, and I want my pant size to go down, and I want, these results. But what I can control is the behavior. I can control, so in Beachbody terms, we talk about that when I sit down to do a chunk of work, it's called a power hour, right? So I can control how many power hours I do in a week. I can control how many days a week I get up at a certain time and go to bed at a certain time. I can control how many workouts, how much water, whether I stick to my containers. Like that's what I try to do, because those are measurable, right? Weight is measurable as well, but a little less controllable than some of these other things that I can't control what you do, but I can control what I do. So that's what I what I try to do. The thing I liked about these 12-month goals were there's that checklist on the right that says, here are these things that I want to do. And mine range from everything, planning monthly family service trips to finish losing this amount of weight that I want to lose, to planting a veggie garden, to going to visit my parents. Like, these are things that I want to do. But what I really like about this are the priorities, and then these things in the middle. Here are some things that I can do, action steps that I can control. So whether you do this one or if you do the one that I sent you that's got like your reason and then like the 30 and the 90-day goals, do one of them. Get it down on paper so that you have something you can look at. This is not something that I hang up on my refrigerator. I keep it in my binder that I see every morning when I do my power hour. And yours might be somewhere, inside your devotion for the year. And we're going to run out of time here in just a minute, but do it and put it somewhere that you will come upon it regularly. It doesn't necessarily have to be hanging up for the whole world to see, but you want to see it regularly. And I lost my... All right, real quick before we go, before I say one more thing, does anybody have any questions or thoughts or something they want to talk about real quick? Okay, personal development. I want to know what you're reading. I am almost finished with The Energy Bus. This is really good. I think it's really good for anybody in the workforce, but it was really good for me to think about, again, what I have control over and what I don't. I have control over what I put out there. That's it. That's all I have control over. And I can put out positive or I can put out negative, and that's all I can control, right? I can't control anybody else. But this puts a really good spin on kind of the energy that you put out there. This will probably always be my favorite. It's pretty incredible. If you haven't read it, you should. There's a whole book and there's a devotional. They have very similar content. So you could read one or the other. I don't think you need to read both. And it just put a new spin on craving and what you desire. And then I always do a devotional each morning, something short. So last year I did Jesus Calling, just really short little thoughts. And this one wasn't even prayers. It was just kind of meditations. And then this year it's called Cultivating Virtue. Every month has a virtue. And there's a quote from a saint and a little story of unpacking that virtue. So January is perfection, which is a tall order, obviously, but also something that I really struggle with. And I'm learning the difference between perfection, which biblically we are called toward, and perfectionism, which in my mind is the vice that I struggle with, right? So that's been a really good, even if we're only, 8 days into the year. Does anybody have anything that they're reading? Does anybody settle on what they're doing? I know, Ashley, you just ordered some.
We just got the audiobook of Made to Crave on her phone.
It's good.
Yeah. I made a list of 12, one for each month, books that I wanted to read that were both, different from health and spiritual to personal development to, there was just a wide variety of stuff. So then I have one each month that I want to work on.
Do you have Eat That Frog on your list?
Mm-mm.
Eat That Frog is a good one. Matt, I think you might like that one too.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you'll love Made to Crave. It is absolutely written by a woman dealing with women's issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
An audiobook, and yeah, it's written towards an evangelical woman, which I'm not.
Right, which you're not.
But yeah, the concept. Remember when we did the Light Way years ago? It's a lot of the same.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Chandra, you got a good personal development book?
I'm rereading Made to Crave, but I really like the Slight Edge if Matt doesn't care for Made to Crave. The Slight Edge is a really good one, so I'll probably reread that next. I reread.
I think she froze. Yeah, I agree. The Slight Edge is a really good one. But Eat That Frog was good. I listened to that on audio one time when we were driving to Cincinnati. It's really short. It's a really quick read. It's a really good one about procrastination and dealing with just the crap you have to deal with and how to conquer it. All right, friends, we have less than a minute left on our Zoom. Does anybody have any amazing, brilliant parting thoughts? All right, reach out to me if you need anything, and keep checking in with me. I'm going to post this recording in the group if I can figure out how to do that. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic night, and I will talk to you tomorrow.